The waves of the Mediterranean beat gently against the shore, like the slow, steady breath of some ancient god. The air tastes of salt, fish, and seaweed clinging to white stone. Before you rises the city of Alexandria, jewel of Egypt, gate of knowledge. The great lighthouse of Pharos pierces the night, its light sweeping across the dark sea, and behind it, half shrouded in shadow, stands another monument, the Library of Alexandria. They say it holds all the world's knowledge: Egyptian carvings, Greek philosophy, Indian medicine, Babylonian astronomy, even the writings of lands whose names no tongue has yet spoken. You take a deep breath. You are about to enter a place that will show you how vast knowledge can be and how terrifying its death may sound. You pass through bronze gates while the sun still hangs high. Inside, the library glows with daylight. Ceilings stretch toward the clouds, marble columns gleam, and sunlight drifts through endless corridors. It breathes, it hums, it is alive with thought. Hundreds of scholars wander between rooms. An Egyptian in linen robes recites medical notes from a papyrus scroll. A Greek philosopher with a flowing beard argues about the immortality of the soul. A group from India carries wooden chests filled with dried herbs. Their scent mingles with dust and ink. A Babylonian sits beneath a pillar, charting the stars on stretched goatskin. The air vibrates with a dozen languages, a chaotic, divine symphony of human thought. Sunlight pours through the high windows, catching dust in midair, turning it to gold. Children in the corner practice the Greek alphabet, their voices uncertain, their eyes bright. Copyists race their reed pens across parchment, trying to outrun time itself. An old scholar passes you. His eyes are deep as the sea. He whispers, perhaps in Greek, perhaps in the language of dreams. Knowledge was never meant to be kept forever. It passes through us like the wind over the ocean. Remember that. You shiver. You don't yet understand, but his words linger, like prophecy. You wander deeper. In the Hall of Astronomy, golden rings rotate, mapping the heavens. A Babylonian scholar smiles. These are the orbits of the planets, he says. You stare upward, and for a heartbeat, the sky feels close enough to touch. In the Hall of Medicine, drawings of the human body line the tables, heart, lungs, liver, veins, so vivid they seem to pulse. An Egyptian scholar points at a painted heart. It is the lamp of the body, he says. Your stomach tightens. Some knowledge, you realize, can heal or kill. In the Hall of Maps, parchment oceans stretch across the floor. A young scholar looks up, smiling. The world, he says, is much larger than your imagination. Every scroll here hums with life. You reach for one. Papyrus brittle, ink fading, the scent of sap still there. But an old librarian lays his hand on yours. Not every secret, he murmurs, wants to be read. You fall silent. Awe and fear rise together in your chest. Even here, where all wisdom gathers, nothing is safe from time. Sunset. The last light drips through the windows, painting the marble red. Outside, new sounds swell, heavy, rhythmic. Not footsteps, not voices of scholars. Hooves, steel. Shouts in a tongue you don't understand, raw, violent. The library goes silent. Even the children stop reading. A single word breaks the air, shouted from beyond the gates, burn. The doors tremble, then crash open. A torch arcs through the air. It lands among fallen scrolls. The flame catches, crackles. Soft at first, then furious. Fire leaps from shelf to shelf. A wall of knowledge becomes a wall of flame. It glows like sunrise, but there will be no morning after this. Smoke coils upward. The fire devours papyrus, clay jars, the breath of centuries. But not everyone runs. Old men stay seated, scrolls in trembling hands. One begins to read aloud, another joins. Their voices weave into one trembling chant. If the paper burns, says one, we will carve it into memory. If memory burns, says another, smiling, we will sing. A song lasts longer than ashes. You stand frozen. Letters rise like black birds into the air, spin and vanish into smoke. You try to catch one. It crumbles, leaving only gray streaks across your skin. You run. Sandals slap the stone floor. The roof groans above. Fire chases like a starving beast. Maps burn. Rivers curl. Islands vanish. A chorus of screams follows, then silence. Ash swirls upward like a storm of lost souls. Someone yells, "These are the voices of our ancestors. Don't let them die." But fire doesn't care for ancestry. It only eats. You stumble into a smaller room, still untouched. Scrolls rest in peace, like sleeping children. You unroll one. Red ink on gold. Man is the longest dream of the gods. Before you can think, flames burst through. The letters curl, twist, vanish. Another scroll, equations of planets, arcs of stars, gone. You kneel, clutching an armful of books, but they are too heavy. You hold one tight, then the fire takes you too. Amid the chaos, a sound. Not screaming, singing. A circle of scholars stands together, robes aflame. They hold hands, eyes closed. Their voices rise like prayer, a Jewish elder, an Egyptian woman, a Greek poet. 3 tongues, 1 song, trembling, radiant. You don't understand the words, but you know what they mean. They are singing to keep the souls of the books alive. Maps cover every wall. A scholar, bloodied, clings to one of India. "If we lose this," he cries, "the world will forget we existed." The fire surges in. The map curls, burns. Rivers turn to smoke. Mountains dissolve to ash. He screams and runs into the flames, clutching his map. A torch of flesh and memory. Then silence. Metal crashes. Bronze spheres fall. A Babylonian elder holds one still. "You cannot burn the stars," he whispers. He looks up through the cracked dome. Real constellations gleam above. For one moment, sky and mind become one. He releases the sphere. It shatters, like a dying constellation. You enter the medical hall. The scent of herbs, resin, and blood fills your lungs. An Egyptian woman clutches a scroll to her chest. "We keep the knowledge of life itself. It must not burn." Fire engulfs her. Scrolls turn to smoke. All that remains of human healing becomes dust. You weep. Not for her death, but for the centuries of blindness yet to come. Through the smoke, shadows move. Not scholars, not soldiers, thieves. They steal scrolls, not for truth, but for gold. "Sell them east," one shouts. "A single scroll for a kingdom." You grab his arm. He slashes at you. You fall. Blood mixes with ash. You watch him vanish into darkness with a treasure of lies. Some knowledge will survive, but twisted, corrupted, and that may be the cruelest death of all. You stand. Every step sinks into gray dust. The library is now a graveyard. The ashes whisper beneath your feet. You taste them. Bitter. Ancient. Like swallowing the memory of humankind. Through the haze, visions appear. Greeks reading Homer by the sea. Egyptian healers binding wounds. Babylonian astronomers tracing stars. They flicker. Ghosts of memory. The smoke is not just smoke. It is memory itself. And you are breathing in the soul of mankind. You crawl outside. The harbor burns red. The lighthouse still glows, a trembling beacon above the inferno. You collapse at the shore, cough up smoke. The library roars behind you, a mountain of fire where knowledge once stood. The wind whispers. Wisdom is like the tide. It comes, it goes, it never stays. You shiver, unsure if it's the wind speaking or the ghosts of the library itself. Smoke spreads over Alexandria. Crowds fill the streets, faces pale in the glow. The sea of knowledge is gone. Will we still have books tomorrow, Mother? No one answers. The city trembles. Not from fear, but from grief. That night, you fall asleep by the sea. Salt and ash fill your breath. The last sound you hear, the calm, indifferent rhythm of waves. In your dream, Alexandria blazes once more, brighter than a star, then fades. When you awaken, there is nothing. No books, no library. Only one question, echoing in the dark: what outlives mankind? Paper, memory, or the dream itself? And then in the silence between thought and sleep, a new vision forms. Not the sea, but the jungle. Stone towers rise from vines like blooming lotuses. A city of stone, older than time. You wonder, if even a library can burn, can a city built from stone truly last forever? So lay your head upon the pillow and listen. For in the next episode, the gates of Angkor Wat shall open. Thank you for staying through another long night. Sleep well with Pillow of Time.